So, over the past 24 hours, WWE has made several releases once again become public, if you will, or not necessarily public, but public enough to where it was reported by various sites. Now, two of those releases in the past 24 hours of our two controversial figures in WWE that many felt should have been released long ago. One of them, according to a report, now this isn't everything, because other articles have more information on this. One of them is of NXT referee Drake Woodson, Drake W, if you will, NXT referee Drake W, who reportedly had nuclear heat backstage. And when you're talking nuclear heat, if somebody has nuclear heat anywhere, doesn't matter if it's a sport or a regular job, yeah, that's not a good sign for your future in any kind of employment down the line. Now, according to Fightful.com, per Wrestling News, Fightful.com per Wrestling News, his firing, Drake W, the NXT referee's firing, didn't come as a shock to anyone around him. It basically goes on to say that Drake W is said to have had nuclear heat brought on by himself after he was warned by WWE about attending tapings without a mask. So in other words, instead of adhering to the policies brought down by WWE and in other places, if you will, about the mask policy, the mask mandate, because of what's going on right now with COVID, even though we're at the tail end of it, he did not adhere to it. He did not wear a mask, which kind of tells me he's in the camp of those anti-mask people that believe this whole COVID situation is not that big of a deal and is made up because they wanted to get certain people that, because of the fact that political-wise, they wanted to get certain people like Trump out of office and stuff. So, he's probably in that camp. But it's not the only camp he's in. He's not the only camp he's in. Now, according to the rest of the article, he is also accused of attempting to make political plays by trying to position himself for certain roles in the company. And NXT higher-ups were alerted to numerous instances where he nearly got into physical altercations with talent he upset and made uncomfortable backstage. Now that right there should say a lot about somebody when they're trying to position themselves for certain roles by making political plays for those roles, as well as being reported to the higher ups of NXT and WWE of nearly getting into physical altercations with talent, as well as making them feel uncomfortable. And that uncomfortable part, as well as possible the physical altercation part, is due to the fact that, according to other reports about this release, is he was not only someone that was manipulative, someone that didn't adhere to the mask policy and all that, but he was also someone that was a racist, apparently. He was a racist. In fact, they said, ironically, a year ago during one of the pre-takeover meetings with talents and all that, referees, talents and all that, that he, I think he left it during the middle. I don't know if he left or something, but he basically didn't want to hear anything that Triple H was saying. Mostly when it came to treating each other equally, watching each other's back and all that. He didn't want to hear it. There were several instances from what I read that he would take his stuff and leave the building because he was either assigned to referee a match between a black wrestler and a Latino wrestler against each other, or just one or the other at a time. He just left. He didn't want nothing to do with it. And that's probably where the uncomfortableness comes into play, because of the fact of how he reacted, how he felt about certain races that were not white, if you will. So yeah, he was basically a manipulative racial SOB, we'll put it that way, that, I'll be honest, and I do agree, should have been let go a long time ago. He should have been let go a long time ago. Now, he's not the only controversial figure of NXT to be released. One that a lot of people felt should have been released long ago when the accusations came out originally is Velveteen Dream Patrick Clark. A lot of people felt that he should have been released, as I just checked my time here, guys, that everybody feels that he should have been released, long ago. As soon as the accusations came out about him, about flirting with minors, asking for the school information, asking this and asking that, doing what you, at the age of 25 or so, should not be doing, everybody felt that he should have been released. But WWE didn't do that. WWE tried to sweep it under the rug because they saw big things in Patrick Clark as the Velveteen Dream. But as more accusations came out about him doing these things, WWE obviously couldn't avoid it. They tried to keep avoiding it, but they couldn't. They tried to avoid it or play into it by turning him heel, then turning him into a jobber. That didn't work. And the last time he was on television was December of last year, and now they decided to release him about 6 months later. And why did they release him 6 months later? Budget cuts? That's what they'll make you want to believe. But the truth is, it's because of the fact that the accusations are still out there. If WWE felt that these were not true, like they tried to state they weren't, or they tried to investigate that they weren't, they would have kept him on television. He would have been in a main spot on the main roster by now, post WrestleMania 37. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that due to the fact that basically, the accusations were still out there. They were still growing stronger. And they knew that if maybe they put him on the main roster, those accusations would become more public than ever. So obviously they realized, you know what? Let's just release him. Let's say it was chalked up to budget cuts, so that way it makes it easier for us to, explain why he's gone. When we as fans and as insiders, legends, Hall of Famers, we all know the real reason. We all know the real reason why he was released. We know it. And WWE can't avoid that. They can't hide from that. And that's the truth. That is the truth. They can't hide from that. So the fact of the matter is this. Velveteen Dream, in the eyes of a lot of people, should have been let go a long time ago, but he wasn't because WWE still saw him as a big star. But obviously with more accusations coming out, as time went on, and probably realizing that if they would have brought him up to the main roster after Mania, it would have gotten worse. This was probably the best decision. And right now, both him and this referee's future in wrestling is very much in doubt. It's very much in doubt. The referees is no doubt in doubt. There's no doubt. Velveteen Dreams, there's evidence of him doing exactly what he's accused of. So his career could be in doubt, if not over, by now. And if it is, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Dark Side of the Ring Season 4 episode on him before you know it. But yeah, two controversial figures, have been released by WWE finally. The question is, what does the future hold for them? Only God knows, and only God can answer that question. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like, and I am out.